Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Andy, for the introduction. I'm Felicia, the CEO and co-founder of Akoni. Today, I'm going to talk about three things: my experiences as a frustrated SME director, our solution and our product in that respect, and then our journey so far, really what's involved in that. The founder, that's me. I used to manage a Lloyd's broker where we had both client money, which is obviously trust monies, and a large amount of operating cash. We banked with two of the leading names on the high street, not RBS, and we just could not get decent returns. We were in that mid-market spot, too small to have a treasurer and a TMS, but too big not to do some sort of active management. Essentially, as SMEs or businesses generally, we sweat all our assets, all our resources, and I'm sure you have this with most of your clients. But cash typically just languishes, earning very little return, especially in the current market. We estimate that business savers forgo £7 billion to their bottom line due to not reallocating as rates change. There's a whole variety of reasons that this happens, but this is typically due to a combination of the lack of transparency and the difficulties in administration and movement of cash. So it is both a technological and a banking market problem. When reflecting on the solution, what I thought about for a long time was, what do I as a business want? And again, none of these points here are new. I'm sure that you see this, especially the first point, is that service has to be consistently excellent. Not excellent one day and terrible the next day when you deal with another product. And what was important to me when I was an operator, I used to get approached by technology providers all the time, offering a range of solutions that were just generic. So for me, in a business, this must be personalized to me as a business, and my business needs change very frequently. So I would like the product to keep up with that. Our focus is centrally, first and foremost, on the customer. So my number one issue, and I'm just telling you my personal experience, again, your customers, I'm sure would feedback something different, is that it must be frictionless. So whatever product or solution is offered should not take me, an hour to do, then I have to go get all my paperwork, then I've got to do something else on the system for an hour, then I have to upload something. So by the time I've just abandoned the usage of the system as a business, because most finance directors or COOs do not have time, particularly relating to ongoing cash management, unless they have a treasurer. So that's not this target market. Obviously, there has to be a benefit. So in our case, our system is very clearly targeted towards helping with cash flow projection tools, as well as assisting clients to increase the returns on their cash. So there's a bottom line benefit and a business management benefit. The other thing which I've mentioned there is the horizon beyond the initial solution. That although in our product, we're talking about cash maximization or cash optimization, there are a range of other financial products that can benefit in the same way from technology and data analytics. This is our solution, which I'll talk briefly about. So essentially, this is a personalized cash treasury manager. So the same way as a treasurer manages cash on a daily basis, what our product does is scans the market, reviews the product, does transfers on behalf of clients per their mandate, on either an automated basis, semi-automated or manual. So the client can choose their intervention method. We use data analytics, which I'll discuss in a few slides, and cash management insights to help the client with their cash flow projections. And I'll discuss briefly the machine learning components. One thing that's important, in our open marketplace, we currently have about 70 banks, about 340 business products, because we have a data partnership. But for our low-risk UK clients, which have got a specific AML criteria inbuilt, we have a 3-minute onboarding process. We also, which I'm sure RBS utilize for your business clients, have got quite specific propensity to buy marketing and targeting data. And for companies, you can do this because companies' house data is open data. So there are a wide range of analytics that can be done simply on open data, and then obviously within RBS yourselves, you have a much richer data set, much more up-to-date, which would be relevant. The other key is that we use for our purpose a hub and panel banking model. And that is so the client opens one central hub account. That's it. We do all the opening of accounts. And as Andy mentioned, the Open API is going to make that entire process streamlined for the businesses and our clients. These are just a few of the screens. So as an example, what we do is we pull the data from Companies House and we personalize it, relating to a client, what their cash balances were, what their interest earnings are. We then utilize, we have historical rates over the past few years, and we say, this is what you made per your own reporting. This is what you could have made. So we tailor it. There's a whole range of other financial analytics in our roadmap in terms of debtors' days analysis, creditors' days analysis, all based on public data. Again, if you incorporated this in RBS, your data set would be much richer. The client then builds their own cash portfolio. So what's important, they select based on whatever the latest market rates are. What is important here is that businesses obviously have more complex cash needs than individuals. They are not linear, they are portfolio based, and a number of those may compete. So a business might say, well, I only want to deal with B+ banks. Or actually, I'm small enough, so I want to allocate my funds across 7 banks to maximize the government protection insurance. All of that gets incorporated into our product based on personalized governance criteria, which the client can change. We also produce board reports, which the client can download, change as appropriate, and then report to their board in case that is what is required for their own internal governance. Again, this is because I was that person who had to do all of this in order to make any changes in our business. This is just an example of data analytics, and this only works in a large institution such as yourself, where you aggregate data, and I believe that RBS do have some of this, I'm not 100% sure, where you aggregate data across a sector. So let's just say you review all of your IT companies. You can say to your client, Mr. Three Pillars, we see that you're currently paying your VAT 20 days before it's due. Everyone else in your sector pays it 1 day before it's due. The difference to your business would be 700,000 on an annual basis rolling. If you actually put that into a 1-month deposit product, this is the difference on your bottom line. So the purpose of this is to make very fast decisions easier for the client, so they can see that stream of thinking. Now, when it comes to the future, I'm sure everyone's heard of artificial intelligence and how that works. Currently, all businesses, I don't know any business who's an exception to this, uses Excel for cash flow projections. And I have done this. We had 37 subsidiaries. You download all your accounts, you review everything with all your managing directors, you upload it back into Excel, you analyze your macro and your head office requirements, and then you're still left with your projections in Excel, okay? I used to do this, and I actually thought I was very good, and I probably was reasonably good. But not once did anyone tell me science can help you. And that is essentially what machine learning does. It takes what's in that human's brain and enables it much more quickly to think and produce, theoretically, a better result than a human being. So we currently have an R&D project underway where we use a combination of the methods mentioned there, statistical techniques and neural networks. It's very innovative, it's very, very new, but it is something that if you have to ask me where I think things are going, we are moving in a direction where artificial intelligence is going to help businesses in terms of cash and a range of other products. Just briefly talking about our roadmap. As you can see there, we've got one of our initial products, which is the cash management and cash optimization. In future, we would aim to integrate with other banking product providers. In addition, in particular for this mid-market and SMEs, group employee benefits like group life, group health. These are products that can benefit from technology and data analytics. Even contracts can be analyzed on a clause-by-clause basis and tied back to individual company requirements. I don't know whether any of your clients have mentioned auto-enrollment as an example. That's something that can easily gain a benefit through this exactly the same type of technology. Our journey. So when preparing, Ricky said we should discuss our journey, which is not something we usually comes up. I want to say number one is people. You cannot deliver a business like this in a fast-moving climate without a team that fundamentally believes in what you are doing. So it's that inspiration and the passion. Because you are constantly pushing and you're changing at a rapid pace. So it is quite an irony in our space, because we are offering business products, that we need to be able to change quickly, but still have very strong governance. And that's why our chairman and deputy chairman are very strong banking veterans. Then the product journey itself relates to the validation. So this comes back to our early beta customer feedback, and this is ongoing. We get customer feedback during our journey because we are releasing over a period of time, and where we can, we incorporate those changes, and where we can't, we look at it for future. And that's why we have a beta user group. What is very important is considering what is happening in the marketplace on an ongoing basis. Andy mentioned open banking and the pressures that's coming from the Competition Authority. Obviously, ring fencing and how the bank chooses to operate after the split will also have a pressure. And relating to the regulatory side, Basel III, and in particular for our product, I don't know if anyone is here from Treasury or Asset Liability Management, but the LCR is putting huge pressure on banks to tie up high quality assets that could otherwise be used for lending and profitable activities. So if you can work out how to change your customers' behavior, that also improves the bank's bottom line. That is a benefit. Obviously, there's on the demand side, customers themselves, the business customers, are looking for more from their financial institutions. We have a wide-ranging ecosystem, which is our data partnership, our company's house data. So these are all live links with daily or live updates, and we are constantly improving and adding to that. There's no ways in a fintech environment such as ourselves that you can deliver without partnerships. Things are changing very rapidly, and you need to make sure that you are as up-to-date as you can. So this comes to my final slide, is where do I see the future? So for me, because I was the business customer, the number one is around loyalty and affinity. And whether that is to a product provider such as ourselves, or whether that is to an institutional provider such as yourself, that has to be top of the mind, because the entire marketplace is shifting. For me, again, as a business customer, product has to be personalized. I used to actually get offended that so many people would present so many technologies to me without any component of personalization to my business, not even to my sector. AI and analytics, which I've spoken about, should drive and help the businesses make a whole range of decisions. And as I've mentioned before, Basel III and the LCR, if as an institution, on an institutional level, you can roll out a product that scales up and changes customers' behavior, even a small amount, like a 1 billion movement in your deposit book, which is a drop in the ocean for a bank like RBS, changes the bottom line between 5 and 25 million. I mean, because you redeploy your high quality assets. Just using that as an example, it's understanding that connection between treasury and the commercial operations. And that's it, really, from us. Happy to take any questions. Oh, you don't need this.